Okay, welcome to your reading. So I've already prayed and pre-shuffled. Let's do one more shuffle. I'm going to tune in. I'm just going to read what comes through and we'll see how we go. If you feel like you want to go deeper, there's always Patreon that you can join. And if there's something coming up where you feel like you need personalized help, I've got one-on-one sessions available for you, all linked below. So we're starting off with the 9 of Wands, an 8 of Wands, a 9 of Cups, 9 of Swords, King of Pentacles, the Magician, 5 of Pentacles, Queen of Cups in reverse, and Wheel of Fortune. Okay. There seems to be a split between fears coming up or triggers coming up, and like it feels like oscillating between that. So it could look like one day you feel really anxious, you feel fearful, you may see like accidents or just sort of like bad things happening around you, and then it can pivot or it can shift, and the next day is the opposite. You're seeing alignment, or you're feeling alignment, you're seeing synchronicities, you're getting deja vus, life is feeling good, life feels easy, you're smiling at people. Like there seems to be either one or the other, and it's like I keep getting it as like oscillating between the two. Tell me more about this. It seems to be happening for a reason. It's for you to recognize that what you focus on tends to multiply. And multiply in the sense that if you're having a bad day, so let's say you wake up, you're having a bad day, you may notice how just things are going wrong. Like you're already in a bad mood, you may be thinking about how you're in a bad mood, and then you're seeing things that amplifies your bad mood. And then another day, same, you wake up feeling good, you wake up motivated, you may have gotten a message that made you feel good, like, and then it multiplies. You smiling at a neighbor, you're getting a coupon for something, you have to pay, like you're getting gifts, and it just builds upon that. So basically it's meant to show you how you sort of can, I mean, with the Wheel of Fortune as the underlying energy, it may feel like this is just happening out of your control. But actually, a reason why this is being amplified right now is for you to understand that your mood dictates your reality in a way that, again, you may feel like it's out of your control, but actually it's the thoughts that you are thinking in those moments. You just may be like thinking the thoughts that you wake up on with. Like, I don't know how to explain it differently. It's just making sense for me because I'm suddenly remembering all these people who keep stressing how important the first hour is upon waking up. And it's exactly for this reason, because it sets the tone for your day. So everyone who wakes up and has this whole ritual that some may think, oh, this is way too much, this person's doing way too much, they're actually probably the most intelligent human beings around, because they're using exactly that hour upon waking up to set the tone for the whole day. Meaning they might write down intentions before checking the phone, they're meditating or they're stretching and they're having a glass of water, and then on the other side you have Billy-eyed Joe from down the street, who's freaking staring at his phone, seeing people getting bombed, this getting bombed, this getting bombed. Oh, the prices have inflated. Oh, checking the bank account, not being happy with bank account. And then it just goes downhill from there. Unless you can really pivot midway. But most people are not conscious of that. Or they're not aware enough that they can pivot midway. So yeah, it looks like it's coming through as a sort of like, the reason why it may be amplified in your life right now is exactly because you're meant to be learning about how you do have sort of control about the thoughts you're thinking. And this is just a recent Patreon reading we'll touch on that really strongly and go deeper into the mechanics behind how to do so. We got the Eight of Pentacles out. That's just underlying what I already touched upon. It does take effort, you know, like that's what I mean. Most are sleepers, most may not be conscious that they actually do have control about what unfolds in the day-to-day. It takes effort though. It doesn't come from nothing. So it looks like, because I have a few cards in reverse where it's just pointing towards feeling like a victim of your circumstances. And that may be exactly what you're being encouraged to get out of. And you may ask, well, how do I get out of that? And it's exactly tapping into resources that teach you how you are not a victim of your circumstances. You're actually a very powerful co-creator. So with the King of Pentacles out and the Magician, it is leaning towards, I keep getting a sense like your awareness is the key here. Becoming aware of what you are creating, whether it's good or bad. Again, it comes back to the thoughts you're thinking. And then you can tweak that by exactly becoming more intentional, having rituals in place. Also spell work, as in what you are speaking, not only thinking but also what you're speaking about yourself, what you're speaking over your life, just becoming more intentional with that. And some things you may need help with, you know, if there's patterns around, or you feel like there's been a curse that has been put on you or on your family, and you all keep thinking the same thoughts, you keep manifesting the same thing, there's no shame in reaching out for help. You know, sometimes it just takes a bit of work to break out of a pattern, or if you feel like you have something repeating that you really can't break out of, you've tried everything before. My services are really good in those cases. So you have options, but you can start yourself. You can start with, okay, I'm going to set the intention, I'm going to become more aware of the thoughts I think, and then like also becoming aware of what exactly the first part that I picked up on, of like, okay, if I wake up in a bad mood, I'm more likely to have a bad day. If I wake up in a good mood, I'm more likely to have a good day. Why is that? And just becoming curious as to how patterns show up in your world as well, how whenever you like someone, it goes downhill. Why is that? Is it my doing, or am I really a victim of circumstances and I just always attract assholes that don't value me, that don't treat me right, that don't da-da-da-da? Is it really them, or is it something that I am thinking, that I'm creating, that may be outdated and just ready to release and ready to let go and put something else instead? Think new thoughts, have new beliefs instead, like, and then see what shifts. And not giving up when it doesn't happen within a day or two, but just staying on the ball. Like, that's ultimately part of the work. And that's why I'm saying, if this resonates with you and you really relate to this way of working with yourself, and it helps you, then check out the Patreon. This is exactly what it's there for. The only reason is that we are, like when I was getting your awareness is the key, the only reason that keeps getting stressed is because we do have a lot of programs they're running on autopilot. We're not aware of them, so we're not even really aware of what we are thinking and thus creating, unless you do become aware of it. And here is where it sometimes can help if you have a professional medium who can point out blind spots and can read your energy field in a way that you are gifted that awareness. And then usually it's like aha moment. I have that with a lot of clients. It's like, oh, they just needed to hear that, and then suddenly it's like, aha, that makes, like, that's exactly what's been happening my whole life. And that's the key is the awareness, and then you can start changing that. Tell me more. Page of Swords. Yeah, this really is like, this is gonna reach people that are really curious about exactly their own mechanisms, their own patterns, where did it come from, what do I need to do to change it. That this is natural, being naturally curious about bettering yourself and even motivated. And that's not everyone's cup of tea. Not everyone sees value in that or feels like it's necessary. But also then you can't really, be complaining about your life not turning out the way you want it to. I just said it's hard being a human. It's hard living a human life. We have the world out. I just got this again, just a recent Patreon reading. That really is a sense of completion. It was also a YouTube reading that just came through a couple of days ago. Completion, but also it's tied into, I just got a wave of like feeling fed up with certain things that have just been the way they are. And that usually also is the first move of that. Well, the first move, like the first step of changing that. Sometimes we have to hit rock bottom. Sometimes we really have to reach like the pit of hell of like, fuck this, I don't want to live my life like this anymore. Like, I've had enough. And it can feel like shit and painful in the moment, but actually when you then look back, for a lot of people, that is the starting point of a new life. And also where you then start recognizing where you have been playing victim and where you do play victim. But also sometimes you have to own that, sometimes you have to own, or sometimes you also have to feel exactly that, feel where you have been felt like you were done wrong, you felt powerless, you felt helpless, you felt like people were taking advantage of you, they were like overpowering you, your desires, your feelings, like they didn't give a shit about you, basically. That can be a reflection of where you didn't give a shit about yourself, though. And that's when that part like settles. It can hit like a bit of, slap in the face, but also it can be the starting point of, okay, I guess I need to start treating myself better then, to expect others to treat me better. I may need to start treating myself better. Only then I can even recognize when someone is treating me like shit. Because if you're treating yourself like shit, you may not recognize another person is treating you shit, or you won't say anything. You will just tolerate it. Because it's the same way you treat yourself, so it's nothing, it's no difference. Only if and when you come out of that and you start treating yourself better, you start thinking better thoughts about yourself, about your life, suddenly things start shifting in your favor, you're more likely then to say no to what doesn't feel aligned. But this again is where you have the Eight of Pentacles out, because it can take conscious effort. It doesn't come from nothing. This is why a lot of people bang on about it. We call it work. Inner work is work. Inner work then also shifts into outer work. But it's a lifeline for a lot of people, and it's also where you then recognize or feel like you actually have purpose. That's why we have so many stories of people that changed their life around. They started at the bottom and then suddenly they come out on top, and then they can teach and they can talk about how they managed to do that. What tricks worked for them, what did not. And that's as well where it's your responsibility to pivot towards who speaks to you in that way, because you will come across many different teachers, and not everyone speaks to you, and not everyone can convey what is ultimately the same message to some degree in the way that you understand it. Okay. Three of Pentacles, Queen of Pentacles sideways. Well, there's just some hesitation. There's just a message for someone who must be tuning in. I'm picking up on some hesitation around either, it seems like you have a vision, right? Like you have a vision, you have an understanding. You also seem to understand you have the capacity of building said vision. But it looks like, your thoughts not only thoughts, but also karmic cycles, karmic patterns seem to get in the way. So it can look like you're going like, you feel like it's going up, you're progressing, you're making good moves, you're making good choices, and then suddenly a karmic pattern shows up. So this can look like a person showing up that has tendencies of an ex, for example, an ex that you had an extremely volatile relationship with, and they made you feel like shit, or they made you feel like a victim, they made you feel hopeless, they made you feel powerless, and you have this cycle showing up. If you start wobbling, if it's been going up and you start wobbling, you reach a sort of threshold moment of like, okay, am I going to repeat what I've already learned? And then it can sort of go downward, like it can spiral downwards. Or are you going to apply what you have learned so far and allow yourself to keep moving up? This is where we sometimes get met with really weird limitations, like fear of success, feeling like you don't deserve feeling good, feeling like you don't deserve to make moves upwards, feeling like you're not allowed to take up space. Like these thresholds moments when you have these people, these karmic patterns come up, they're actually really pivotal and really important for your growth. Because let's say you then make the right decision, you make the right choice, you recognize it, your whole system, body goes, hell to the fucking no, I'm not repeating this shit. You make the choice to make sure that it's closed out. Congratulations, you just broke out of a karmic pattern. Imagine how good that feels. You know how good it feels once you've broken out of it, because you will feel expansion, you will feel proud of yourself, you will feel, and even like you might feel nostalgic of like, damn, look how far I fucking came. Because a couple of years ago, a couple of months ago, I would have probably had to go through this cycle again. And now I didn't. I recognized it and I chose differently for myself. That is the marker of growth. So don't you think when you do that and you feel that expansion, you're gonna feel like how there's blessings coming in. The point here is, can you allow yourself to receive it, or are you gonna resist it? But yeah, please watch the most recent Patreon reading, because you're gonna get so much more on top of what you're getting here. To just add that, like add on the energy you seem to be in, or add on what you're moving through, to just really like make those shifts that also then stay, like the recalibration stays. You don't fall back into old patterns, into old hurts, into old struggles, because that can make a person feel like they're going absolutely insane. That is even that's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, hoping for a different result. You're gonna feel like you're going insane. So this is why also this type of work or these readings can help to catch you when you're about to make a decision that you're gonna end up regretting, and that may set you back in a way that as much as the good stuff can stack, also the bad stuff can stack. So we may think, oh, it's only a choice, but you must know this. Any one of you who knows people in active addiction who are really like, dealing with hard drugs, you may look at it and think like, damn, there's just one choice. This person just chose one time to take a hit of heroin, and they went down that path, and it was just that one choice. So it feels like the spread you're getting is really one to drill in your head and make you realize that the choices we do make, however big or small they may seem, they do end up defining what we live. And that's why I'm saying, like, good choices stack up, but also bad choices stack up. And when you can catch yourself, when you're pivoting into direction where you can already feel, oh, this is a bit, don't know if I should be going down there, or don't know if I should be going down there again. If you get there again, you're faced with a karmic pattern. So I think we can leave it for this. We can leave it here for now, because like I already said multiple times, you have you have a whole library of readings on Patreon that you have access to. if you decide to join. And if you want something addressed, we have group work on Patreon. If you want to address personalized one-on-one, it's all linked on my website, and I will show up for you and we can do the work together.